Hey, what's up, guys? Here I am in beautiful, absolutely beautiful, all around majestic Charleston Bay. If you're familiar with Charleston, this is one of the cities in the South that you should visit. You can visit. It's fairly safe, at least the parts that are worth looking at. You see that? What's that over there? That's Fort Sumter. It's not an analog horror video scene. But yeah, man, Charleston. I was here probably 4 years ago, just stopping by on a road trip. Man, this place. I always remember this place for a number of reasons. The French Quarter here is actually beautiful. I was walking through it before. You can actually walk through it and not worry about getting shot or something or stabbed. It's cool. There's dolphins or porpoises going by before. But the big reason I'm here is also to show you something, to commemorate something. I want to say something that maybe I shouldn't in terms of Charleston. Charleston has respected and maintained its monuments, right? Well, it's monuments. Watching the monument mythos, it's a lot of fun, but I always had a feeling for monuments before that. And I won't say what monuments they are. Quick little side thing I didn't know. The USS Pringle, right? Lost in enemy action off Okinawa, April 16, 1945. Well, you know what that means, right? These poor bastards. You know what probably put them out of action. It wasn't enemy-to-enemy fire. That was a kamikaze. The Divine Wind. Sorry for you guys. But in terms of kamikazes, well, it's kind of a similar thing nearby, and I'll explain. Anyway, this park here is right at the base of the French Quarter of Charleston. Beautiful place, I recommend. DFC Sons, try to come here, man. Beautiful place. You can walk around here and literally see things from when America still had a more European past. Absolutely beautiful place. I totally recommend it. It's really beautiful. Then you have the park here with all the oaks, the gnarled oaks. Right? Oh, beautiful, beautiful spot, man. Free parking. Charleston Bay's right there. White Point Garden. Look that up if you come here. I guess I'm a travel agent for Charleston. But what is this? In memory of the supreme devotion of those heroic men of the Confederate Army and Navy, first in Marine warfare to employ torpedo boats, moved by the lofty faith that with them died, crew after crew volunteered for enterprises of extreme peril, the defense of Charleston Harbor, which was blockaded. And these are the men, and you see the inventor right there. This is the Hunley Memorial. Obviously, torpedo boats were actually a separate weapon. There's a whole thing on the Confederate blockade runners. Of course, they're ironclads, the torpedo boats, but the Hunley, this was, you get the Leviathans here. This was erected by the daughters of the Confederacy, just like many of the things I used to show you in Baltimore with James before that went south. And this was erected 1899, literally the cusp of the wonderful 20th century. But very beautiful that this was put up, but that this 30 years after these guys, and I guess if you want to know what happened with the Hunley, it was the first submarine in the history of the world that actually took out an enemy ship successfully. The Federal Defense, the Union ship, the Housatonic, was sunk. They blew the hell out of that thing, but the ship disappeared. It's also important to remember that the test runs of this submarine, the two of them missions went down, just testing the thing. The guys all died, they all drowned. Right? And the guys who took it out, they succeeded, but they disappeared. It was assumed that they probably drowned or they were lost. But the fact this memorial was put up in 1899 shows that 30 plus years later, they were remembered. Okay. The Union had blockaded they had the Anaconda strategy. They had blockaded pretty much all the coast. Obviously, the Confederacy didn't have much of a navy, but you had like I said, the blockade runners is a whole other thing. They would run the blockades, get out to open water, and then make deals with the South Americans and the French and the British. Okay, that's a whole other story. But these men, literally, it was made out of a boiler. The Hunley, and unfortunately, I wanted to go to the museum. It's only opened on the weekends, and I have my travel plans. I'm not able to do that. So at some point, I will go to see the actual thing because, literally, just 4 or 5 years, 6 years after the movie, right? The famous TNT movie I had talked about. Great film, by the way. About 5 years after that movie was on TNT, they found it. They found, after 100 plus years, they found the Hunley at the bottom of Charleston Bay. They were able to do it. Now, the movie, it was a great fucking movie. It was a very sad ending, of course. It was surmised that probably the Hunley sank and they weren't able to get back up and the men drowned. In the film, you see that they drowned themselves rather than suffocate. Like I said, it's a great film, if you can find it. But they found the Hunley in about, I think, 2005. They raised it. There's a whole memorial, there's a whole museum to it. Like I said, I can't get to it, but they surmise now that most likely, and you can imagine at night with in the dark, in the water, with a hand-powered submarine. This thing wasn't even powered with steam or anything. Like, even the torpedo boats were steam-powered. This was hand-powered. That they managed to stick the charge with basically with a big harpoon into the Housatonic in the dark itself was an amazing thing. But from what they saw at the bodies, none of the men had moved from the positions they were in. They weren't trying to raise the ship or trying to struggle to try to maybe get out or get the ship back up or work with the things. They just were there. They just were as if in that moment frozen in time. The shockwave killed them. They were too close to the blast. Nobody knew about this shit. You wouldn't have naval undersea warfare till that other great war about 50 years later. So it was actually better that they died quickly, I think. These were men. These were brave, honorable men. And I just wanted to make a video of this to show this thing. Charleston's a great city. They do a good job protecting this stuff, but the passage of time, you know how things are going. You know what they're doing. You know what they're saying about these things. So far, Charleston's held strong where other places haven't. I can only hope they keep doing that. There's just something about this, the nature of it. These were the first guys to make submarine warfare. So submarines are still a useful thing, I think. I heard about that they're still kind of useful in this day and age. Probably more useful than anything else. But anyways, paying my respects to these men and to this city of Charleston for having this beauty here. So yeah, I am biased. Okay, I think I'm a lot more nuanced than well, I don't even have to say anything. So all respect to these men. Later. Real quick, as another thing that we forgot about, of course, Fort Sumter, that was the opening shot of the war, but Fort Sumter obviously was taken by the Confederacy. I had showed you that there was a massive ironclad assault. Man, the Union had mass-produced ironclads. When you think of the Monitor that had one turret, they had ones with like 2 turrets, like giant, much bigger than that one. They had assaulted this place. There was like 4 or 5 of them, along with all the other ships attacking this place. They bombarded the hell out of this spot. So it's like in that movie, when you see that, it's like, oh, I was trying to create sympathy. No, that actually happened. They had no blasting people with their blood. Isn't that always the story? It was only going to get worse 50 years later. But I thought people forget the ironclads wasn't just that little battle with the Virginia and the Monitor. Man, by the end of the war, the Union had a bunch of monitors that were bigger, more turrets. Anyway, a little useless knowledge. And this gun apparently was from some ship that got sunk. 11-inch. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just kidding. Oh, so we got William Moultrie. obviously a French name, but a hero of the revolution. The reason why the South Carolina flag has the crescent on it was he had that on there after the battle here, Garrison. Yeah, he got captured too at one point, but he got exchanged, right? Remember I used to exchange prisoners? It's amazing. So, but yeah, Moultrie, there's so many of these French guys. I remember in Lafayette, they had Moulton, was it? I think that was his name. They took his thing down too, but they better not touch these. What am I kidding? They're gonna take all these down in 20 years. You think your younger whippersnappers will be alive for that? We shall see. Nice shot here, huh? Now this is a cool ass, man. This is a very I guess more modern monument to the defenders, right? See the people that did it made it here. Interesting. But what's cool about it is there's almost like boss relief, but done in a modernist, almost Soviet style, or some other regime that I won't mention. Right? But I always liked this. Yeah, it's like I guess that's Nike back there, and you have this dude, okay, with the look, he got the leaf on. I don't want to see that. But yeah. Oh, what's this? The Confederate Defenders of Charleston, right? 1861 to 1865. Yeah, it's still up. Now you see that they still paint on this, you know, these punks. Right? But it's still here, man. They haven't taken it down. I don't even think they're getting close to taking it down. So for now, obviously, when the day comes when they do these things, looking out into the bay, well, we shall see. But for now, these monuments, memories of the dead, to the fallen, are still up here. Okay, unlike Baltimore, I showed you those early videos I did. And that's good, man. So maybe it's a little much, a little triumph of the something for these dudes. Fuck it, it's cool. At this point, listen, if I was in charge, man, these things would be all over the place. But you probably wouldn't have the internet if I was in charge. I'm just kidding. All right, goodbye, Charleston. I will be here again. Recommended. Visit the DFC Sons. Visit this place later.